Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. This is Frank, the host of the Let Me Bend Your Ear podcast. This is a movie podcast where I discuss and review movies new and old. As you see, I have my special guest co-host. It's been a while since he's been on, my son Ethan. Say hi to everybody, Ethan.
Hi, everybody.
All right, before we get into the review today, just want to say a couple of things. One, just want to give a good word out to my mom. She's not feeling too well, so we want her to feel better. My mom, Ethan's grandmother, so we just want to give a quick shout out to her. Get better soon. She'll be watching this podcast, I'm sure, and listening to it. So if you want to say hi to Grandma.
Hi, Grandma. How you doing? Hope you feel better.
Good. All right, so we're going to be discussing and reviewing today. We just actually saw the new movie Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. We saw it a couple of hours ago, so we're going to discuss that movie. Mm-hmm. So Puss in Boots, of course, is the third film featuring the main character of Puss in Boots, voiced by Antonio Banderas. Obviously a spinoff of the Shrek movie franchise. So in this particular film, Puss in Boots discovers that he has used up used up 8 of his 9 lives. As you know, the stories, cats have 9 lives. And in this film, in a funny montage at the beginning of the movie, you find out how he's died the other 8 times. He kind of lost track about it, but that's a great part of the beginning of the movie. Do you want to talk about that part? Because you laughed out loud at the beginning when they were showing the different ways that he died. What were your favorite ways that he died?
The candid one, which was just reckless. When he was standing on top of a building, he says, "A cat always lands on his feet," but he was drunk and just fell off the building.
Fell off the building. Let's see which one. I like the one when he was shot out of the cannon.
Yeah, that was
I won't give them all away so they can watch the movie. But yeah, that was very funny. So as the movie progresses, he finds out that he only has 1 life left. And there is a bounty hunter that's chasing him. The big bad wolf, actually, is chasing him to get the reward. So there's a reward, of course, of Puss in Boots is kind of a Robin Hood type character. He gives money to the poor people. He goes around touring and helping people that need money. And so, of course, kings and heads of states are after him, and there's a bounty on his head, so that's why the wolf is chasing him through the movie. And of course, now Puss in Boots, being fearless and kind of braggadocious and a lot of ego, is scared because now he realizes if he dies this time, that's going to be it. So that's the main story. And then there's obviously there's new characters that come in. You have the dog that's pretending he's a cat, which is funny, the therapy dog.
Therapy dog.
Yep, that's pretending he's a cat. And then what's the female cat's name? Is it Softpaw? Katie Softpaws, right?
No, I think just Softpaws.
Is it just Softpaws?
Oh, and one more thing.
Yes, go ahead. It's Katie Softpaws. Yeah, I was right.
Yeah.
Salma Hayek.
So in the movie, Puss in Boots, wait, never mind, actually.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
So, go ahead. No, just talk, Ethan, talk.
Okay, so in the movie, when Puss meets the bounty hunter thing, the reason he gets scared of him is because he knew he has this life, and he made him bleed and got scared and ran away without a sword, and he had to use like a small blade or something. Right.
So Katie Softpaws gives her smaller life later in the movie, right? Because he loses his sword. So a lot of the movie is about basically dealing with mortality. There's more deeper themes in this movie than I think it's a, and we'll get to the review of it towards the end of the podcast. But yeah, there's a lot that's going on. So as the movie progresses, he ends up going to a woman's house that has hundreds of cats because he needs to go somewhere safe because he doesn't want to get hurt anymore. So a lot of the movie is him being depressed about the fact that he can't be Puss in Boots anymore. He can't do all the things that he does. And he's just basically living a life of where he's got to be in hiding when, of course, the outside world comes to him because they're all looking for him. So you have Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, which is another funny characters that come in because obviously, like the Shrek movies, they are different fairy tales. Different fairy tale characters come into play as the movie progresses. So what were you gonna say?
The wolf, he's not
He's not a what?
Should I actually tell them that?
Ethan.
In the end of the movie.
Well, no, don't give away the end of the movie, Ethan. If it's a spoiler, no.
Well, actually,
there's a wolf hunting him. Just leave it at that. Don't give away any spoilers.
A
no
wolf
spoilers.
hunting him, but the wolf is.
The wolf is going after Puss in Boots to get the bounty. Let's leave it at that. Yeah, we're not going to give away anything because people haven't seen the movie.
But I'll tell you after the podcast.
No, not after the podcast. What we'll do is if we have spoilers at a little bit in a couple of minutes, we'll give a spoiler warning, and then people can turn off the podcast if they're listening to it or if they're watching it now, and then we can talk about spoilers. All right? So we'll do that if you want to. What? Ethan?
Can I say something though?
What?
I don't know if it's a spoiler.
Well, then if you don't know if it's a spoiler, then you don't say it. We'll talk about it at the spoiler part. We'll do a spoiler. We'll talk about the end of the movie if you want to. Okay?
Yeah.
So, at the time, not yet. What else about the movie did you like? Well, let's do that. Like I said, tell me things about the movie without spoiling anything at the end. What did you like about the movie?
I liked that when Puss in Boots, when the wolf just whistled,
that is good.
His hair just went up and ran away. He just ran away.
Yeah, so that's a great one, Ethan. So the wolf, as he kind of comes into scenes throughout the film, as he's pursuing Puss in Boots, he whistles this tune that's very ominous, very scary.
Say the tunes like.
Do you know it?
It was like.
I don't know it. Okay, very good. So he whistles this ominous tune. Puss in Boots gets scared. So yeah, that's very good. Anything else that you really liked about the movie?
Well, it's not a big part, but I like the wolf's blades.
His weapons. Okay.
They were weird.
Any other characters you liked in the movie other than Puss in Boots and the wolf? Who were your favorite characters?
That dude who with his thumb thing.
Oh yes, excellent one. So I think it's John Mulaney. Yes, Big Jack Horner. So the little Jack Horner, thumb in the thing, pulls out a plum, blah blah blah. You know that story. So in this movie, very good point, Ethan. I almost forgot about him. Big Jack Horner is the main kind of bad guy in this movie. So the other main part of the story, which is why it's called The Last Wish. Thank you for going down this road with me, Ethan. So what happens is, of course, Puss in Boots realizes that he has no more lives left. At the same time, it's shown in the movie that there is a map to get When You Wish Upon a Star, that nursery rhyme. Mm-hmm. That you can get a wish, and there's one wish left on this star. So Big Jack Horner wants it, but Puss in Boots wants to get it as well, because then he can wish for 9 more lives. So yes, Big Jack Horner is voiced by comedian John Mulaney, I believe. Let me look it up in the credits here. I think I was just looking at that. Very funny. I agree with you. He's probably one of my favorite characters in the movie. So he's the bad guy. He's trying to get the wish as well because he wants it, and he's commissioned, people to go get it. And there's the major battle between there. So you meet Puss in Boots, who ends up meeting Kitty Softpaws, which actually Ethan informed me that was in the TV show.
It was in the TV show and one other movie. So she's voiced by Salma Hayek, and she's on a pursuit for it as well. So it becomes a a pursuit movie. So it's Puss in Boots along with Kitty Softpaws, along with the therapy dog / cat. So they're pursuing it as well. So yes, so Little Jack Horner, very good character. I'm trying to think of. Can I say that?
Yes.
When Puss he grew his.
Yeah, so you're talking about that. So Puss, when he's staying at the cat lady's house,
he grows like a giant
because he's there for a while. He grows a big beard on his face, so it's very funny as well. So of course, and then Kitty Softpaws makes fun of the beard.
Yeah, and she makes it go like those things where they go twist all the way out and down here.
Yes, she tried to. Yeah, she did some barbering of his face, and it made fun of him. Yeah, so that's funny as well. I did like the Goldilocks character. Florence Pugh, the actress, voices that character. So from Black Widow, and other things as well. She's good. But the voice cast is really good all the way around. A lot of good voices, a lot of funny movies. As far as the quality of the film itself, now I haven't seen. I think I saw the first Puss in Boots. I have not seen the second one. This movie, this third one, and Ethan brought it up as we left the theater, and I agree. It's for a third film in a movie. Usually, a lot of times, the third ones are usually the weakest, and the expectations are low. And I think even Ethan had low expectations going in. But surprisingly, it was good. It was really entertaining. It's about an hour and 30 minutes, 40 minutes. It's short, so it goes by fast. So it's not long. It's not boring. And then the story is about. It really shares stories, especially for kids, about living your one life, living the best life you can. Having that be important, and it's Puss in Boots goes through some humility there because his character, like I said earlier in the show, is braggadocious and has a lot of ego, but he's humble in this movie and he learns what's important. What were you gonna say?
I was also gonna say about the Puss in Boots when Goldilocks and the three bears try to find him. Mm-hmm. They think he's dead.
Right, because he pretended that he was.
He pretended, so he put his
So he can hide.
He put his clothes and stuff and buried them and put like his peace sign on it. And so the bear sniffs it and thinks he's dead.
Right, exactly. So he's trying to, so he can hide his identity.
But they find Puss in Boots, but they don't think it's Puss in Boots because he's got like these mittens and a big beard.
Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do, since Ethan's anxious, and actually it's not a bad idea. We're giving the spoiler warning now. So if you listen to this podcast later, if you have not seen Puss in Boots and don't want to hear about the end, just pause the podcast. Come back to it when you watch, after you watch the movie and you catch the rest of our review. If you're watching live now, obviously, you can turn off for a second, or you can watch this later after you watch the movie. So, in 3, 2, 1, we're going to go ahead and do spoilers. So, all right. So let's talk about. I'll let you go first, Ethan. What about the end of the movie do you want to talk about?
That the wolf, he's not a bounty hunter. He's death.
He's death. Okay.
So.
How do you know he's death?
Well, Puss in Boots comes and he says. He figures out he's death and not actually a bounty hunter. And he came for him because Puss in Boots thought he was power, thought he could live forever. And then at the end of the movie, the wolf says, I came for a cat who thought he had everlasting life. And then he said, I don't see that anymore. And he leaves. It also says, I'll be back. You know that, right?
Very good.
Because in the future, he's probably going to get more greedy and thinks he's going to live forever.
Well, no, I don't think it's that. Well, let me.
He said, "I'll be back."
Because I think this movie is teaching, and this is where it has kind of deeper meanings. No, what I think he meant was that now that Puss in Boots has no more lives left, because remember, at the very end. So let me back up a little bit. So at the end of the film, there's the climax where Puss in Boots finally is brave enough to battle the wolf. So there's a fight scene. They battle each other. And the battle, right? So then, that precedes what Ethan just described. The wolf saying to Puss in Boots. So the map is there. They fight. They fight to a draw, and basically Puss in Boots tells the wolf, I'm not afraid of you. He goes. Oh, actually, the line is a great line. He goes, I may not defeat you, but I will always fight you. I will go down fighting. So that's the point. To Ethan's point, where the wolf makes that speech about. I was coming to come after someone that had limitless lives and was basically describing what Puss in Boots was before, and he's not that way anymore. So he leaves. So I think, to Ethan's point about the wolf representing death, is he realizes that Puss in Boots understands that he only has this one life to live. It's not the same cat that he was coming after to hunt, and basically said, "I will see you again. They will meet again." I thought of it as a metaphor for when the time does come for Puss in Boots to actually pass away. That's when he'll come back, because it happens to everybody. There's a very deeper theme about death in the movie. The doctor at the beginning of the film when he tells Puss in Boots he only has one life left, as he's leaving the office, he says a very good line. He goes, death comes to all of us. Nobody can avoid it. So it has those deeper themes of that as well. So I think that's what happened. So at the very end of the film, he does not take the wish, even though he could, and says, I don't need it.
Can I say what happens?
Go ahead. We're in spoiler world.
Why
Go ahead.
he couldn't get the wish is because when they were trying to get the map, I forgot who did this, but someone that was fighting the Big, because he just grew because he ate this cookie and fell into.
That was Big Jack Horner.
Big Jack Horner. Yeah, but
came out of the bag.
He went much bigger, like a giant. So they destroy the map, and then they have one piece. They turn it on fire, and the whole map gets destroyed. The star breaks, and Jack Horner dies.
I guess he goes back in the bag, right? Do I remember right? Does he fall? No. Where does he? He sinks into the big thing in the ice area.
Because the star completely cracks. He falls into the Earth's core and stuff.
Right. He falls back into the star. So that's the end of the film. So like I said, it was my expectations. I think like Ethan's. I mean, I wasn't sure how it was going to be. I had heard some pretty good reviews of the movie, but it was actually better than I thought it was going to be. I think Ethan agrees. I think for a third movie, like I said, those are usually not very good, and this was actually really entertaining.
Nice. I thought the movie would be like Puss in Boots, blah blah blah. He's in a big fight, la la la. He wins, in the TV show. Every fight he has, he always wins and stuff. And even when he does lose, he wins again. Even if he wins and something happens, after that something good happens and he's fine again. So Because in the show, he's just like, blah, 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 blah. He's always there. He didn't even die in the show once. So.
Okay. Oh, you didn't? Okay.
I didn't expect him to actually be humble. I never... Yeah. I'm like, knowing Puss in Boots from the show, I thought he'd be a rude, mean cat.
Right, exactly. No, that was the thing. He suffered some humility here in a good way, which is good. All right, before we move to the review, is there anything about the movie that you didn't like, or did you like everything about it? Let
me think. There might be some parts I didn't like.
Well, if you got to think too hard, there's probably not.
Yeah, can I keep going? I'll try to think.
Well, no, Ethan, you don't have to try to think. If there was nothing, you could say nothing. There wasn't anything, like I said, I didn't really have anything that I didn't like. The movie was short, so it moved quickly. It wasn't boring at all. It was funny. It was entertaining. So I have nothing that I can criticize about the movie at all. So you don't have to have something. You don't have to look for something if you don't.
Funny thing is, it's not a bad thing. It's that a dog is like, she's like, for the therapy thing to help him feel better, she's like, feel my belly, rabbit. I know, you want it, rabbit.
Right, for it to make you feel better.
And he's like, you are a weird cat.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to go first with my Van Gogh review. So, the film Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, which is playing in theaters right now, I'm going to give it 4 Van Goghs out of 5 in my review. That means it's a very good movie. I don't know if it's a classic animated movie, but it's really entertaining, really good. I liked it a lot. It was a lot of fun. It was funny. Antonio Banderas' Puss in Boots is great as always. Salma Hayek is great as the voice of Kitty Southpaws. The voice work all the way around is really excellent. And like I said, the movie was very entertaining. So I'm going to give it 4 Van Goghs out of 5. What about you, Ethan?
So, I thought some parts I really loved, and I was really into the movie, like, in the moment. But some parts of the movie, I got out of the zone, and it was a great movie, but it wasn't like a movie I would watch all the time and stuff.
Okay. So,
I would love to give it a 5. Some parts weren't as good as they could have been,
okay.
So I'll give it a 4.5.
4.5, oh, better than mine, though. So, 4.5 out of 5 Van Goghs from Ethan. 4 Van Goghs out of 5 for me. So, like I said, that's a recommendation. I think if you go with your kids to the movie to see Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, they'll have a great time there, and they'll enjoy it a lot. So, again, Puss in Boots, 4 Van Goghs for me, 4.5 for Ethan. So, I want to thank Ethan for joining me again. He'll pop in when we see movies together from time to time. You can see his other review. Last one we did, I think, was Paws of Fury, right? That you came on with me. That was a while back. Yeah, so that was really a fun one, too.
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
I know I'll be doing a podcast here 3 more times, but for
you're gonna tease it?
Can I say what other movies I'm gonna be here for?
Help yourself. Go ahead.
If probably when we watch Shazam, I'll be here for the podcast. The new Spider-Verse that's coming out next year. And what's the other one that I want to see?
I'll give you a hint. Video game movie.
Oh, Mario. Mario. So
the Mario Brothers movie. So yes. Yeah. So yes, Ethan, he is teasing his appearances for next year. So Ethan will pop on. So every time I see a movie with him that I can see that's appropriate, he'll pop on the podcast with me. The Paws of Fury episode, especially on YouTube, is a popular one. A lot of people have watched it. So thank you for watching Ethan and me do the podcast together. It's great. We love that you guys enjoy it. He'll be, like I say, he'll be on a lot more times. There'll probably be more movies that we don't even know about yet in 2023. So look out for that for the new year. Like I said, I'm going to try myself to be on more often. It's been kind of a busy couple of months. One more thing I do want to say before I get into where you can get the podcast, as again, you know, my mom and Ethan's grandmother, we want you to feel better. I do want to, yesterday was my brother's, Jason's birthday. He passed away back in September. So Ethan's uncle, my brother, my younger brother, passed away. So I want to just kind of remember him. And he was a movie lover, just like Ethan is, just like I am. And I just it's been a rough couple of months, and I just wanted to mention my brother and honor him. So I appreciate that. So you got the review of Puss in Boots. So this podcast, as I said, this is a podcast where I discuss and review movies, new and old, most of the time by myself, sometimes with a co-host. It's fun when I can do that. You can get this podcast audio-wise wherever you get your podcast, or wherever you listen to podcasts now, the podcast is available. You can watch this podcast in 3 places. Live, you can watch it on the YouTube channel, Let Me Bend Your Ear Podcast. So subscribe there. You'll get notifications when the podcast goes live, like right now. You can please click and subscribe there. The second place you can get it is on the Twitter page for the show. The handle is at Let Me Bend Your Ear Pod. If you go to the profile and you click on the likes column, if you click on that, all of them show up. It's curated right there. So you can watch it on Twitter anytime you want. The most current episode is pinned on my profile, but if you click on likes, it'll scroll all the way down. You'll see all the podcast and video form there. The third place you can get it, Facebook, also live. Let Me Bend Your Ear. Just do a search on Facebook. It'll be there. The videos will be there. Also, on Instagram, the handle is @BendYourEarPod. You don't get the entire one there, but I've just figured out how to do at least the first 5 or 6 minutes of each show. I will broadcast that on Instagram. You can watch that after the fact. If you want to see the entire podcast, you can watch the first 5 minutes there and watch the rest of it on Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitter.
Can I?
Yes, Ethan.
So, I'm pretty sure you guys already know this, but if you recorded this or something, when he said, like, right now, when you're recording it, it's not right now.
Thank you, Ethan.
You probably already know that.
Yeah, there's some people are watching it now. Most people will watch it later or listen to it later.
Because if you watch
on
it
their
later,
headphones.
if you watch it later, you probably know this though. Like I said, he didn't mean right now because it can't be right now because you're recording it.
Thank you for clearing
But
that up.
those who are watching live, you are not recording it, so it is live to you.
There you go.
Everyone else.
Thank you, Ethan. Appreciate that.
That's
All right.
probably like an obvious fact, but.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Captain Obvious. All right. Okay. So,
Sherlock.
one last thing before we sign off for tonight. If you want to help this podcast out, like I said, I'm an independent podcaster. The only way people will know about the show is word of mouth. So, if you listen on a podcasting app, specifically Apple Podcasts, but anywhere, Spotify, wherever you listen, rate and review the podcast. Hopefully, you give it 5 stars. The ones with Ethan, people love more than just me by myself. So, give it 5 stars. If you do that, the more ratings and reviews the show gets, the higher in the search results it will come up if somebody's looking for a new movie podcast to listen to. So if you could do that, that'd be great. The second thing you could do if you really want to help the show, especially on my Twitter, I'm very active on Twitter. You can follow me there @BendYourEarPod. I'll respond to all the tweets, DMs, whatever. But if you can retweet when I put new shows out or when the video comes out on Twitter, if you can retweet those, that'd be fantastic. Like I said, word of mouth is the lifeblood of an independent podcaster, and this is why I want to grow the show, get more people watching, get more people listening. So I really need your guys' help to do that. So if you can do that, I appreciate it. So again, you're listening to the Let Me Bend Your Ear podcast. I'm the host, Frank. This is my son, guest co-host Ethan, and we reviewed, again, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I gave it 4 Van Goghs out of 5. Ethan gave it 4.5 Van Goghs out of 5. And I want to thank everybody that watches and everybody that listens. And like I said, if you have any suggestions, you can email the show at bendyourearpodcast@gmail.com. I'll get that email right one time. I get it wrong every single time. bendyourearpodcast@gmail.com. Last thing before I go, always forget to plug the website. Every episode of the podcast is there. So if you don't use a podcasting app, it's letmebendYourEar.com. LetmebendYourEar.com is the website. Go there. All the episodes are there. The video episodes are there. So you can download any one all the way back to episode 1. So please check out the website. Even if you listen on a podcasting app, just take a look at the website. There's stuff there. Like I said, there's the video episodes that are linked to the YouTube channel. And every single episode of the podcast is there. So again, I want to say goodnight to everyone. I hope everybody's having a great holiday, safe holiday. Take care out there. And Ethan, if you want to say goodbye before we sign off.
Goodbye, and I recommend you watch Puss in Boots if you haven't already. It's a great movie. Bye.
All right, everybody, take care. Have a great holiday.
Have a great holiday.
And have a great New Year.
Merry Christmas and
All right.
Happy New Year.
All right.